Hello and welcome back to the DoneDeal YouTube channel, and today I'm quite excited because we are joined for the first time ever by a Lexus, and it is a Lexus ES300H. I did know that, I was only playing a little bit of a joke, but this is Lexus's competition for the BMW 5 Series, the Mercedes E-Class or the Audi A6, and I have to say it is very, very good and actually incredible value when we go to break it down, and we will later in the review and be discussing what it's like to drive, the hybrid system, space, the comfort, everything you need to know about the ES300H will be covered in this review. Now, if you'd like to search for new Lexuses for sale in Ireland, hit the link up there and we will get straight into the review. So this is actually the all new ES for 2022, and there are some changes from the previous one to this one, although they're not massive. However, we'll quickly run through them. And the first is the grille. They're slightly less vertical bars. The second thing is that the headlights have changed. They're a little bit sleeker. There are some new wheel designs to choose from, and there is some new colors to choose from. But the biggest changes actually come on the inside. You see, they've actually brought the infotainment system closer to the driver, and they've also angled it a little bit more towards the driver, which makes it easier to use. But the biggest difference is it's now touchscreen. The old one wasn't, but more on that later. Now, there is a couple other things that they've improved. A big one is that the lane assist is now improved, so it will keep you in the lane a lot better. And a big one that you won't even see is that a lot of the safety systems have been upgraded and betterized, because that's a word. Now, as we check out the rear space, which, by the way, is absolutely excellent, let's talk about pricing. So the entry level is about 54,500 euros, and that's for the dynamic. Then there's the F Sport, and then there's premium. Now, the F Sport comes in at about 61,000 euros, and the premium is upwards of 67,000 euros. Now, that's actually quite competitively priced against Audi, BMW, and of course Mercedes, if we're going to be naming names here. However, there's an asterisk on that because it is actually better value, and we'll be talking about that later on, so stay tuned. But as a whole in here, as I said, loads in the room, a little bit of storage, USB charging points down here, and an 120 volt socket. Did I say that out loud? I meant 12 volt socket. And then there is, of course, a nice big armrest down here with some cup holders, some storage in there for an iPad or whatever else you like. Now, the driving of the ES300H is actually its party piece, so bear in mind we are going to get to that, but quickly let's talk about boot space. So interestingly, the button's actually over here. That's because the reversing camera is right there. Now, in here you've got 454 litres, which, if you're used to SUVs, that isn't exactly gigantic, but it's a nice big shape, and I think most importantly your golf clubs will fit in there, which to the average buyer of this car, that's very important. So the time has finally come to take it for a drive. But first, quickly, I just want to talk about the seat, because when I sat into it for the first time, I was thinking, oh, that's really comfortable. And it really is, and it goes without saying that it's electrically adjustable. And the whole fit and finish in here, the steering wheel has a lovely feel to it. All these buttons, when you change the temperature, the way it does it with such finesse, you've got the clock up here, everything's brilliant. The 12.3 inch screen's great, it's Apple CarPlay as well, but you do need a wire to connect it up if we're going to be putting out complaints here. But anyway, so obviously it's fully automatic, and as we pull off here, you'll see it's very, very seamless, because this is a hybrid car, and actually all the ESs are hybrid. And how it works is it's got a 2.5 litre petrol engine, and that's paired with an electric motor, but it's a standalone hybrid, so it doesn't have the plug-in capabilities that you might see in the likes of an Audi A6. Instead, it just regenerates a bit of power from when you slow down, and then that reuses itself in the electric mode. And interestingly, you can drive it in pure EV mode. Now, I don't think you get too far on that, but it's nice to know you can. Now, it's a CVT system, which is a bit unusual, and the most unusual part is when you accelerate hard, you'll notice the revs are a little bit kind of screechy. They don't really rev up like a normal car, But other than that, it's actually seamless. And obviously being part of the Toyota family, it's the same system that's in a RAV4, for example. It's just so well engineered and it just works really, really well. That's the boring stuff out of the way, because this is actually what I wanted to talk about. And it's something that it's very difficult to say, but it's a feeling that you get from the ES when you drive it. It is so elegant and smooth, and it just kind of instills this calmness as you drive around. You're not looking to see how quickly you can take this corner or anything like that. You're just enjoying it. And actually, after 4 days or 5 days of driving it, only today did I even realize it was front wheel drive. I thought it was going to be rear wheel drive, like the old IS200s that you see going around all the roundabouts. But it's front wheel drive, and because it's so calm and smooth, like look at now, I'm just cruising along and a motorbike goes past. And that's just kind of the nature of this car. It's all really, really smooth. Some other cool things to point out is that you can change your mode up here. A bit of an unusual spot for it, but I kind of like the quirkiness of all of this. Now, there is obviously some downfalls. That 12-inch screen isn't fantastic. I'll show you a shot of the reversing camera. As you can see, it's definitely not up to scratch with some of the competitors. But as a whole, I have to say, I'm very pleasantly surprised in here. A truly magnificent car to drive in a very unique way. And then it comes to the topic of value. Now, earlier on we said that it starts at about mid-50s, and that is quite comparable against its German rivals. However, when you delve a little bit further into it, you realise this is in a league of its own when it comes to value. So, you got to bear in mind this is a hybrid, and to get a hybrid BMW 5 Series, for example, those prices start at 65,000 euros. To get a hybrid Audi A6, you're talking 68,000 euros. And to get an E-Class that's hybrid, it's over 70,000 euros. And at that point, you can get a premium one of these for less than the starting price of an E-Class. So when it comes to value, I have to say 10 out of 10. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you did, please make sure to subscribe. And if you would like to search for Lexus or Lexi for sale, we've got over 1,000 trusted dealers nationwide, and they can make sure that you can get into your car securely. And most importantly, you can actually go and test drive the cars, feel it out, because the big thing when it comes to Lexus is actually getting into one, driving it, seeing how it feels, and actually experiencing it, because it's like no other car I've ever driven. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.